offer to make any adjustments that are needed to any of the documentation, just to make sure that all that stuff is updated. So what I was hopeful of doing on this call, and it's your call, guys, so you can stop me if you want, but I was going to go back through the training for the fractional ownership usage that we did with some folks at ACD, maybe not everybody on this call, but it'll probably take 30, 45 minutes, something like that. And we'll have some questions, I'm sure, at the end. So I won't read this word for word because I'll just bore everybody to death. I'll send you this so everyone has it and you can digest it as you see fit. I'll give you a brief history on fractional ownership. So we've done about 60 of these clubs, and different than traditional home ownership or even vacation home ownership, fractional ownership is really a relationship build, and it takes time to form that relationship with the buyer. Whole ownership, it's, you know, do you like the house? Do you like the location? This is the price. Go walk through it and tell me what you think. There's really not much other than understanding what the home has inside when you sell whole ownership and the community around it. When you sell timeshare, it's usually high pressured, high volume. I've got to sell 50 owners per residence, and I've got a very short window of time to sell them. So it's tour, sale, high pressure, high pressure. Fractional ownership, residence club ownership, since we have 8 owners, we do have to sell the home a couple of times, but it's more of a relationship build. What else can I do with this? It's a higher priced sale than a timeshare, but you're saving way more than you would on whole ownership. And I've got some comparisons to it, but could be a complicated process in terms of trying to understand the reservation process behind your ownership. So you really have to build trust and rapport with the buyer. That's why it's more of a relationship build. And what we've seen over the years is it's anywhere between 60 to 90 days from the lead coming in to the lead closing on the sale. So it really is an education process over those 2 to 3 months. Okay. So we talked about this the other day, 33 residences. We're selling 1/8 ownership. We have, in fact, 2 different types of ownership, fixed and flexible. When we set up this club, Melhem really was intent, because the way he uses his vacation home, which is just one block over, is really just July and August. It's a quick jump. Maybe they'll come out a little bit in the off season, but really July and August is when the time they want to be there. We're calling those fixed ownerships. Every residence will have 1 fixed owner. So in the end, we will only have 33 fixed owners. The flexible ownership is basically everything that wraps around July and August. So it's every month other than July and August. We're going to have 7 owners there in the flexible ownership model. Within those 2 different ownership models, we have beachfront and beach view units. Like we talked about the other day, we'll have 4 beachfront units. And those are going to be, you know, the units that are right up front, those 1, 2, 3, 4. And then all the other units, those will be deemed as beach view units. There'll be 29 of those. Some of this has actually changed because I believe at the moment these are already these are already committed and sold. The 4 beachfront residences. So we do still have beach view residences in that fixed category. Again, not to be redundant, but those are just July and August. That's what they're buying. The flexible ownership, we've only got a few reservation holders right now. And you can see that The bulk of the ownership to be sold is going to be in that flexible ownership category. Why? Because there's 7 in each residence. So of course that makes sense. I don't know what happened here. This broke off, so I apologize. I'm not sure why the pie chart is missing these, but you get the gist. Fixed owners are on the title going to have 19.22% of the ownership. Flexible owners will have 11.54% of the ownership. There will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these, and there will be 1 of these. Okay, so when we talk about these types of clubs, and we call them clubs because they do operate very much like a golf club. And if you think about country clubs or golf clubs, the way that they operate, everybody pays the same amount to be a member. Everybody has equal access to the club. It's just that some are going to use it less, so others can use it more. Everybody has equal access to tee times at a golf club, just like they're going to have equal access to make reservations at the property. So they're actually going to be owning real estate, which is a big deal, versus a timeshare, which is going to be just their right to use. And what we're doing is we're finding people who are like-minded individuals to share that ownership. The good thing about it, and you guys can use this in your sales pitches, is when they're purchasing, this is going to behave and act very much like typical high season vacation usage would. Most vacation home owners only use their home 30 to 35 days a year. That's why fractional ownership works, because the other 11 months it just sits vacant if you own the entire property. Okay, you'll get this question a lot, and we are not selling timeshare. Timeshare is going to be a right to use a specific unit for a specific period of time, or it's going to be a points-based program. What we're selling is real ownership. They're going to be listed on the deed. And we're also not selling weeks. I know oftentimes this will come up. It's like, just tell me how many weeks am I going to be buying? What am I getting? Owners can use it as much or as little as they want. And in fact, if you're a flexible owner, there's no limit to the time you can use the club. We've had some owners who will come to the club and use it 2 weeks a year. That's it, which means others can use it 7, 8, 10 times a year.
I think, sorry to jump in, Rob, but I think
an interesting
way, I was just thinking about it because I know a lot of people do get stuck on the amount of weeks, is that pie chart was really good because we can kind of explain it in more of a layman's term by saying maybe it's a co-ownership opportunity, but you own, let's say you'll be deeded 11% ownership in the unit, and you can have unlimited use essentially, instead of going into the planned and the short vacations and the supplemental, because then that's what I found will get super confusing. So when we go into that, maybe we can find an easier way to push that off until like they really want to jump into the booking system.
Sure. Yep, you got it. The other thing I'll make note of is that a lot of times, especially in Mexico, buyers will want to know what's my ROI.
Yeah.
We're really selling a personal enjoyment and ease of use. That's their ROI. I don't think we'll get but a handful of owners that are actually going to buy and want to rent all their time. What we find in these types of properties is people are buying because they want to use it themselves, or they want to send their family and friends. All right, I'm going to blow through these because you can go back and reread these. All of this will be detailed in the operations budget as to what's included. And based upon our discussion on Tuesday, what we're looking to add is shuttle service as well, down into town and back.
Yeah.
So you can also see inside, they've got a clubhouse, restaurant, terrace. We've talked about all this stuff yesterday. Okay. These FAQs, frequently asked questions, are listed also inside the owner information book as well as on the website. But they will be owning real ownership. We'll have the opportunity, and you guys do on the sales side, if two people want to buy one single ownership, they can. They can split the time. They can decide how they're going to use it. Companies can buy an ownership. So there's a lot of different ways to purchase it. As I mentioned, we've done about 60 residence clubs over the years. It's a widely accepted term, fractional ownership residence club. So use that in your language. It's actually the name of the property, SUNO Residence Club. And you can see some of the locations we've done properties. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit confusing, so please stop, ask questions, don't hesitate. When we sell a flexible owner, we're going to be deeding them into a specific residence. But they can stay in any of the residences within their category. So if they're a flexible beach view owner, they can stay in any of the 29 beach view units. Why is that important? Well, if Mercedes and I are both owners in the same unit and we both want to be there at the same time, this gives us the opportunity to do that because we don't have to stay in our unit. I know in Mexico, there's a pride in ownership, and oftentimes they will say, I want to be in this unit and I want to stay in this unit every time. We'll have to figure out how we talk through that on the sales side, because once they realize that they can stay in any of the units, they can come to the property and they have a lot more flexibility. Okay. Will fixed owners stay in the same residence? Yes. They're actually buying into a specific residence and they don't have the opportunity to stay in the other residences. Why? Because they're buying the month of July and August. That's what they bought. Whereas a flexible owner is buying the rights to make reservations throughout a period of time. So fixed owners are going to be purchasing a very specific residence and staying in that residence. Okay. Annual fees, it includes everything. That's really why fractional ownership works, because when you have a vacation home, Melham, use Melham. He's got the vacation home. All the stuff has to be put away. He's got to have a housekeeper take care of it. He's got to have the guy up front take care of, the property when he's not there. Melham has to replace things when they're broken. Vacation home ownership is a tough deal because a lot of times you have to write separate checks for everything every single month. Fractional owners will pay annual fees, but it includes all of your expenses. And we normally bill those on a quarterly basis, so 4 times a year. But it includes all of the maintenance, the team that's there, the staff, trash removal, legal, accounting, your utilities, property taxes, everything's included, all in your annual fee. Initially, Victor, who some of you may know, Melham and myself came up with the operating budget. Ultimately, once the property sells, the owners will dictate what that budget looks like. So they'll vote in a board of directors or a surveillance committee, and the management company will work with the surveillance committee to come up with whatever the annual assessments are going to be. Maybe the owners want to replace all the chairs. They'll include that in the annual assessments. They can send family, friends, guests, whomever they like on their vacations. This is their vacation home for the time that they own it. It just so happens to be that they own it with 7 other people. They can rent a portion of their time. In fact, the management company will have an established vacation rental management program. And like I was mentioning, I think some of the homeowners will use it a little bit, and put it in the rental program a little bit, maybe to offset some of their expenses. But I don't foresee a lot of buyers buying for the sole purpose of renting. Okay.
Rob, please,
Yes,
sorry,
ma'am.
this is just a random question. You know how owners can have their family stay in another unit at no additional cost? Let's say for the fixed, because there's people always stay in the same unit, like the beachfront one. If they have a family member that wants to come at the same time, and there's not a unit available beachfront, can they stay in a back one or no?
No, so for starters, fixed owners can't stay in anybody else's unit. They have
Oh.
to stay in their unit.
Okay.
Flexible owners have the opportunity because they're making a reservation. Fixed owners, remember, they're getting July and August. That's it. Full stop. That's what they get. So fixed owners have to stay in their unit. Flexible owners can stay in any of the units within their bedroom category, but they can't go up, they can't go down in their bedroom or their category, meaning a flexible owner who wants to book multiple residences can't book something. And if they're in the beach view, they can't book in beachfront.
Yeah.
Reason being is there'd be no incentive if I could do that to buy a
Sure.
more expensive unit, right?
But how about the opposite? Like,
Nope.
no.
No, because you have a set amount of owners in that category. And if I was in a beach view and you were in a beach front and you wanted to stay in a beach view, maybe you shut me out and I can't make a reservation.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're in it. Well, why are they in it? Well, because it was available. Well, that's that. So you have to stay within your category. Okay.
So, sorry, just to clarify again, sometimes it doesn't process the way it should. So the fixed owners, they can't have a secondary unit for family though, right? Because they have to stay in their own unit and that's it. Okay, good.
That's right. Yep.
Sorry, just wanted to clarify.
That's right. No, it's okay.
Thank you.
So can flexible owners reserve more than one residence? We just talked about this. Yes, they can. If it's available, they can do it. We'll talk more about how they can do it. But they have to stay within their particular residence type. Okay. What if the number of flexible, is that a question? Yes, go ahead. Alejandro.
Ok, ¿qué pasa si, sí, gracias. ¿Qué pasa si hay lugar en lo que viene siendo frente al mar? ¿Se puede hacer un upgrade? Pregunto.
No, it cannot. No,
Okay.
and the reason being, like we were just saying, is what would be the incentive to buy a more expensive unit if I can simply upgrade into it?
Yeah.
So we don't allow them to upgrade into a different unit. They can only stay in, if they've purchased in Beach View, they have to stay in Beach View. If they've purchased in Beachfront, they have to stay in Beachfront. That makes sense, Alejandro?
Ok, está bien.
Okay. We'll talk about the priority rotating system in just a minute, but that's when the demand exceeds the supply of residences. So let's break this down and we'll go through these because this is, I think, the main thing that we really wanted to address. Okay, fixed usage. So again, here's that pie chart. This one is flushed out, so we can utilize this one.
Perfect.
They're buying 19.22%. Why is that? Well, they're buying it because they're buying 2 months worth of time. They're buying July and August. The other 7 owners are going to be splitting those remaining 10 months. So that's how the math works out. 11.54% and 19.22%. Okay. I know I'm being redundant here. I'm just trying to drive some of these points home. July and August is what they're buying in a specific residence. Now, fixed owners will have short notice reservation privileges within their category throughout the year. So they're buying July and August, but if time is available, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, they can use it.
Oh, good.
Okay. There's one share per residence. So there's 33 fixed owners. Now that short notice vacation is really short notice. Why? Because the flexible owners, September through June, we want to give them the first opportunity. That's what they bought. They bought September through June. But if within 7 days of the vacation arrival date, if it's available, a fixed owner will have the opportunity to book a short notice vacation sometime in September through June. But they can only have one on the books at a time. Does that make sense to everybody? So fixed owners are buying the month of July and August. That's what they wanted because maybe they live in Merida. They want the beach when the kids are off of school. Within 7 days of the vacation's arrival date, if there's time available in September through June, they can book it. They can book as many of those as they want if they're available. Has to be within 7 days, but they can only have one on the books at a time. So what we envision is people who live in Merida will come out for a weekend if it's available, maybe in December. Maybe they want to come out in May, just before the season kicks off. If it's available within 7 days, they can do it. Only can have one on the books at a time. Okay, now a little bit more
Sorry.
complicated.
To
Go ahead.
back again. So they can keep extending that, right? Like once they check in,
Yep.
then they can rebook another short notice vacation.
If it's available, sure. And it's within 7 days, absolutely.
Perfect.
Yep. Yeah, and so Mercedes brings up a good point where we will have owners who do just that. Hey, is this unit available next week? Yes, great, book me for it. And then on that check-in day, they'll call, hey, is this unit available the following week? Yes, it is. Great, book it. The reason they can do that is because they've checked in on the reservation that they're in, so they don't have one on the books. So they can make another one.
Yeah, that's good. And this is
Yep.
ties into the unlimited usage then.
Correct. So really with that fixed plan, you can, with a very straight face, talk with people in that fixed plan and say, yes, you're buying a specific residence. You're buying July and August, but you in fact have the opportunity to stay at the property unlimited amount of time beyond July and August on short notice availability. And that's going to happen within 7 days of the vacation's arrival date. Okay. So they get a lot more than just that, the opportunity. They get a lot more of the opportunity than just July and August. Okay. Now, flexible usage. The balance of the year is left over. What we envision is the 33 fixed owners we believe will be from the Yucatan. The remaining shares will be a mixture of people from the Yucatan, from Mexico, or from the US and Canada. So it's really cold up here in New York. Mercedes is right across the lake from me, and she knows what it's like up here in January. It's terrible. So we feel that this September through June, the remaining 10 months, will be a great way to get away. There'll be 7 owners per share in this category. And they're going to have the opportunity to book 3 different types of vacations: planned, space available and short notice, which we're going to talk a bit about. So again, being redundant, you've got 7 owners at 11.54%. Now, when we look at this flexible ownership piece, there's really 3 ways that most people plan for their vacations. They book way in advance for all that stuff that's really important. They're going to take some vacation whenever it's possible. And then the last type of vacation is people book things. Hey, it's, Wednesday afternoon. What are we doing for the weekend? Let's go away. Really short notice, spur of the moment. We call these planned, space available, and short notice. And we're going to go through each of those. What's really important though, and you guys will get this question because we chatted briefly about it, is how many weeks do I get? And for as long as you can hold out, it's really good to say, we don't sell weeks, just like country clubs don't sell time, tee times. You get unlimited flexible usage of the club. And that can be difficult for people. Now, if it makes it easier, you can say you're going to get, you're buying effectively 6 weeks worth of usage. You could say that, but we like unlimited flexible usage a little bit better.
Yeah.
If some owners use it less, others can use it more. This goes back into that philosophy of people are not all going to use the club the exact same way. Some owners will book it and use it for 2 weeks a year. That's it. Even though they have the opportunity to book a whole lot more, life gets busy and they can't use it that much. Other owners have a lot more usage time because their life is just a little bit more relaxed. Maybe they're going to use it 6, 7, 8, 10 times a year. Some use it less, others can use it more. So each owner is going to have the opportunity to make 2 planned vacations. Again, those are the ones they want to book well in advance. Those vacations can be up to 14 days in length. They don't have to be up to 14 days. They could be just 7. But if they wanted to, they could book up to 14 days in advance. Okay? There's no additional cost for additional use except for housekeeping when we talk about space available vacations. So those planned vacations, they do not pay housekeeping for. That's included in their annual fees. So in effect, they could make 28 days of planned vacation, and then they have unlimited space available opportunities. Okay, so flexible owners have access to all residences in their residence category, again, beachfront, beach view, and can stay as often as they wish between September 1st and 30th. They have the flexibility of reserving those 2 planned vacations, which can be up to 14 days for a total of 28 planned vacation days in advance. What they can't do is they can't say, I'm going to make one reservation for 10 days, one for 3 days, one for 4 days. They're in blocks of 7, but they have the opportunity to block off 14 days, which what we were trying to accomplish, or what we are accomplishing, is the opportunity for people like Mercedes and I who want to come down and stay for an extended vacation. So we don't just want to get away from the cold for 7 days. We could actually do it for 28 straight days. Okay.
So you can book 2 planned vacations, 2 consecutive 14-day periods, so total of 28.
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
So they can do their first planned vacation can be 14 days. Their second planned vacation can be 14 days. Or if they wanted to, they can reserve multiple residences for the same dates. So maybe they wanted 2 homes in the property for the same period of time. They could do that. And maybe they want to spend 7 nights here and 7 nights here. This would be their first planned vacation. this would be their second planned vacation for the same period of time.
Okay.
This is where the flexibility really comes and makes it very, very appealing. Now, what's going to happen is some people will book a 7-night, plus they're going to book a 14-night. So their first planned vacation maybe is 7 nights, as we mentioned. And then maybe for their second planned vacation, they book one for 14 nights. That's their first and second. We're going to give them the opportunity, one more chance, to book up to that 28-day mark. So a flexible owner may reserve one supplemental planned vacation, the maximum length of which can be 28 days minus the number of previously confirmed first and second. That's just a very confusing way of saying this owner booked 21 days in their first and second planned vacation. They actually have 7 more nights they can book on planned vacation if they wanted to. And we're going to give them that chance. Some will take it. Quite a few won't. I'll tell you, from managing these clubs now for 20 some years, we have owners who absolutely understand this process and they use it all the time. We have other owners, we have to call and beg them to come to the club because they're busy. You know, they've got, maybe this is their 3rd, 4th, 5th home, and it's just not important to them. If those folks use it less, others can use it more. So everybody's picked their plan time and everybody's happy with their plan time. Now owners can book a space available vacation. Space available vacations are confirmed after those planned vacations have been booked. You can have one of those on the books at any given time. So we are now up to the potential of, you've got 2 planned vacations. They can be up to 14 days apiece. We're going to have a supplemental opportunity. So maybe you booked a 7 and a 7 and you want to book another 7. So now you're up to 3 reservations. And now you can have a space available on the books. So you're up to 4 reservations on the books. These, just like short notice, these are renewable. Once you check in, you don't have one on the book, so you can book another. So these are unlimited on the space available. And then the final one, if you remember, those fixed owners, if it's available 30 days prior to, you can book it. Fixed owners, it's up to 7 days. You can book it. Now, what I can't do as a flexible owner is I can't book July or August. It's not going to happen. It's not available for me. Why? Because those fixed owners bought that block of time. So you can see here on short notice, we give 21 extra days to these people because they're flexible owners. They bought September through June to book this time. Now, once you get down to 7 days prior to, if they haven't booked it on short notice, they're probably not going to book it on short notice. That's where we open it up to the fixed owners. All right. I just threw a lot at everybody. Let's take a minute to digest. Let's start asking some questions because I know you have some. I know you have some.
Yeah, guys, if literally ask any questions now. I know you guys kind of focus on the fixed more because of the Mexico, but we're going to have you starting to push to some of the like Canadian and US as well. So yeah, if it's because the flexible, I feel like is a little bit more confusing. Just ask the questions and clarify if it doesn't make sense. Because I've had to review this probably like 100 times. Mm-hmm. And even now I'm still like, okay, so the planned vacations are the most important, right? So really, ultimately, you have, and I'm going to ask you, Rob, 28 days of planned vacations. If you use all the 28 days, then you don't have a supplemental because you've used all the 28 days.
Boom. Nailed it.
So then we can forget about the supplemental if it makes it easier. Just say 28 days. And then you could start booking your space available and then the short notice. Okay.
I gave you some examples here, guys. So let's just go through these because kind of like Mercedes just did, I think it's worth talking through. So this is in owner's reservations. They booked their first one. They booked a 14-day stay for their first planned. Their second one, for whatever reason, they only booked 7 days. They only have 21 days. If they wanted to, they could book another 7. That's that supplemental that Mercedes just mentioned. That spelled that wrong, sorry. For 28 days. Now they've got all of their planned days. Here's another example. This person went in and said, I'm going to book my first and second. And for my supplemental, I'm going to book 14 days. Why? Because I've only booked 14 days up here. So now I've got my 28 days booked. Under both scenarios, they both elected to have 7-day for a space available. And it was available on short notice, so they booked another 3 days. That makes sense, guys? Can't tell if it's really good that nobody has any questions
know.
or it's like, yeah, I don't give a shit. I don't
Sí,
even understand
no,
what you're
it's
saying.
okay.
I know it's
No, sí, sí entiendo. Normalmente las dudas suelen salir ya cuando estamos vendiendo. Ahorita pues todo suena lógico. Entiendo que aquí está cómo se planean las vacaciones. Entiendo que los del plan fijo igual pueden utilizarlo si está disponible otros meses del año. Y aquí pues veo lo que nos está diciendo, que pueden agarrar 7 días, 14 días o 28 días dependiendo del cliente.
For some reason that didn't translate for me.
I know. Sandra, I don't think you translated. Can you say it in English? I got a little bit, but maybe for me and
Okay.
sorry, Sandra.
No, don't worry. No, don't worry. Yes, it usually, I usually get doubts when I am selling. Well, usually the buyer is that he's thinking about something that sometimes we missed. So now I get that even with the fixed plan, you can book another week if it's available. And here I can see if you if the
So let me ask you, Sandra, a
Mhm.
fixed owner can book an additional week in September through June. When?
only if it's available.
How does it, but is that 30 days, 21 days, 7 days
No,
for
I get
fixed?
no for the fixed just at 1 week, right?
Well, you can book up to 1 week, but when can I book it?
On September, another month, because
September through
just
June, but
September, June. Yes.
when, do you remember?
7 días antes.
Oh man, who's cheating?
7 days before.
Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it. I knew it. See, Abdu knew.
This is why I said I needed to review this 100 times to really remember all
Yeah.
the intricacies, because there's so many things. That's why I say it's good that you're asking questions, because when you talk it through as opposed to reading it, sometimes you remember it a little bit more easily. So that's good.
Yes, I mean that's what I mean. I don't have a doubt, but I need to read it again.
Sure.
Amazing.
I think what's important in your language when you're speaking to prospective buyers, what's been very helpful for us over the years is early on, they are going to want to know, am I buying real estate or am I buying a right to use? Tell me more about what a fideicomiso is. How does that work? They're going to want to know about the property. When you start to talk about their ownership, that's when I was mentioning earlier on, it is a really a relationship thing, because a lot of people are going to want to know, okay, well, what happens if, or how do I book Christmas? Or what if I'm a fixed owner but want to come in May? Can I? And that's where the documentation, the owner information book, a lot of the marketing collateral, the nurture campaigns through emails, that's where the education process comes. And I know it's difficult now because you're just learning this process, but you'll soon start to understand it. It'll become second nature in the way that you explain it. And then once it clicks in their head, the sale gets I wouldn't say easy, it gets easier. And you'll kind of see that with a prospect initially. It's a timeshare, right? Just tell me, how many weeks am I buying? Can I come out? I'm never going to get to go, right? It's just not going to happen. Once they understand the process, it immediately clicks, and you'll start to see that in your discussions with them. Actually, feels pretty good when you see it click with an owner on how easy fractional ownership is once they understand it. Now, that's not to say we'll have owners. I mean, we have owners now that have owned with us for 20 years who still don't understand it, but it works for them because maybe they only use it a couple times a year. And then on the flip side, we have owners who understand it so well that they use the club 100+ days a year. Same ownership, pay the same price, annually have the same amount of have equal access to their reservations. It's just one, maybe is just going to use it 2 weeks out of the year and they're happy with it. They don't really understand it, but they're happy with it, which means the other person can use it 100 days out of the year. Completely fair. It's just the way that people use it.
Mm-hmm.
We will have opportunities, and it doesn't happen often, but we will, where the demand exceeds the supply. What does that mean? Well, if we look at the beachfront, if we have 3 owners in the beachfront category in the flexible ownership request a period of time, the same period of time, no problem. If we have 4, no problem. If we have 5, that's when we would put in place this priority rotating system. Why is that? Well, there's only 4 residences. So if there's 5 people that all request the same period of time, 4 will get it. 1 will have to pick a new date. And this priority rotating system, it's a little bit complex. It's behind the scenes, but it basically rotates throughout the years, and it creates fairness when there is a need for it to be applied. Most people don't even care to look at it. They just want to know that we're all playing by the same rules, which they are. And we've been using this for 25+ years very effectively. Okay, guests can use any of these vacations. So you'll hear in sales meetings with prospective buyers, I don't know how many times I'm going to come to the club. Maybe I'm only going to use it twice. Is this really worth it? Maybe 3 times. Is it really worth it? Well, you can definitely have your friends and family come. You can put it into the club managed rental program to offset some of your operating expenses. And you can also put it into our exchange program to take vacations in other spots around the world. So in your sales discussions, in that discovery process with a prospect, ask them, how many times do you come to Mexico? Or how many times do you, people who live in Mexico, how many times do you come to the beach per year? Oh, maybe twice, 3 times. That's it. So I don't need 4, 5, 6 weeks. Okay, well, do you have any friends, family? Which everybody does. And if not, you can put it into the rental program and probably cover all of your expenses. Ask them, okay, well, if you only come to the beach twice a year, do you take other vacations? Oh, sure, we go to Europe, we go to the US, whatever. Great. You can take your unused time, put it into the exchange program, and be able to take those vacations on exchange with your vacation home in San Bruno. So there's ways to overcome these objections when they're talking about fractional ownership. Somebody may say, I want to be there for a month straight. I want to get out of the cold in Canada. Great. I just showed you can book 28 days well in advance. And then you actually have the opportunity to book a 7-night space available vacation. So now we're up to potentially 35 straight days. And if it's available 30 days prior to, you could tack on another 7 days. So you're up to 42 straight days. So once you figure out the usage program, you can cater your discussion with those owners or those prospects to suit their needs. And you'll start to learn how they're going to vacation differently. And then you just plug in your application for it. So we talked about those comprehensive fees already. I won't go into this, but this is just a chart, and I'm going to send this to you guys. This dictates the difference between whole ownership and fractional/residence club ownership. This is the difference between a residence club and a timeshare. You'll get that question a ton if you haven't already in your discovery with prospects. Is this a timeshare? For many, timeshare has a very negative, people have a very negative opinion of timeshare. For some, they love it. Find out why they're asking you, because maybe you can cater your discussion towards it.
Mhm.
Oh, do you own a timeshare? Oh yeah, we have 3. Great. Cater your discussion towards it. Well, this is slightly different. It's a lot more flexible than a timeshare, right? Oh, is this a timeshare? Why, do you not like timeshares? No, I can't stand it. I hate it. My neighbor has one, my friend has one, and they hate them. Great. Cater your discussion towards that. This is not a timeshare. It's vastly different than a timeshare. So anyways, there's some talking points here for you. This is just a recap. I'm going to blow through these. These are just testimonials, which doesn't matter. Okay, so if you're an owner, you can use it personally, send family and friends we talked about. You can rent it to offset some of your expenses, or you can put it into an exchange program and be able to vacation in other locations. So I'm going to walk you through this. We have a members portal that they're all going to get. And the really cool thing with this is, obviously, SUNO's not built. So there is nothing to exchange, probably for the next 18 to 24 months. They don't have anything to exchange. We're going to open up an exchange membership for them, and they can start to travel prior to SUNO being built. So this is a pretty important sales tool for you, because there's really no sense of urgency at the moment with SUNO to buy,
Mhm.
because I'm not going to get to use it for 18 to 24 months anyways while you build it. Well, the prices will go up. Yeah, I understand that, but I can't use the property. Well, not only are the prices going to go up, but we're also going to open up an exchange account for you, and you can start to vacation in the exchange program prior to SUNO being built. That's a pretty appealing proposition.
Yeah.
So in short, what they're going to do is make a reservation at SUNO and then give us that reservation to the exchange program. And then we will issue travel credits, and they can take those travel credits to vacation at other locations. So they don't have to pay for the vacation. They just have to pay us an exchange fee.
Mhm.
And that's usually a couple $100 US. So they're using SUNO as a way to vacation in other locations around the world. So again, cater your discussion with your prospects. Oh, you're only going to come to SUNO twice a year. I understand. Where else do you vacation? How much do you normally spend on those vacations? Well, we spend about $10,000 per vacation. Yeah, we like nice things. We like nice places. Like SUNO, we like nice things. We like those nice places. Well, they could save that $10,000, maybe pay a $500 exchange fee and use a reservation, deposit it in the exchange program, and then use that as a vehicle to go somewhere else. Right? So all they're going to have to pay is the local housekeeping fees. They're going to pay that exchange fee to us. The one thing that's really important is they can't say, well, I'm not going to make a reservation at SUNO this year. I'm just going to go make a reservation in Tuscany through the exchange program. They won't have direct booking. They have to make a reservation at SUNO and get it confirmed, deposit it, basically give us that vacation, and then they can take an exchange somewhere else. And that's important too, because your prospects will start to ask, well, what if an owner in San Diego wants to come to Merida? Well, they don't have direct booking either. They have to make a deposit in San Diego, earn travel currency. Someone at SUNO has to make their time available through a deposit. Then they can trade. In the exchange program, everybody's going to get a exchange coordinator, somebody on our team that's going to help them plan those exchange vacations, walk them through the benefits of how it works. And this will happen as soon as they purchase at SUNO. So if somebody goes hard on a contract now, starts to pay for their membership or ownership rather at SUNO, even before it's built, we will dedicate somebody to that owner and they can immediately start to travel with us. Now, what's important about the way that they're going to travel with us is they don't have something to give yet, but they can go in and take our short notice vacations out of the exchange program. Those are all of our vacations within 60 days of the vacation's arrival date.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's basically our short notice inside the exchange program they'll have access to. There's probably 300-400 vacations available right now within that 60-day period. So that's really, really attractive to be able to send prospects now for a property that's not even built. They start to learn the whole fractional lifestyle, how it works, what a residence club is before SUNO's built. This is our home stretch here, guys. We're almost there. So these are some of the biggest objections you'll hear. You know, tell me again how it works. Help me understand this. How many weeks am I getting? Am I buying a timeshare? Again, most, but not all prospects just want to be told they're not buying a timeshare, but take the time to understand it and then craft your language around it. If you need reference points, we sold Palazzo Tornabuoni the exact same way we're selling SUNO, 1/8 ownership. And those sold for almost $1 million per share.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
You'll also hear people say, hey, listen, I want total flexibility, right? Ask them those questions. Well, how many times did you go to vacation in Merida or elsewhere? So you can start to craft that language around it. You know, most people say things because they want to get out of the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So craft your language and try to help them better understand why this is right for them. One thing that I failed to mention at the beginning of the call is we're not looking to sell San Bruno as a destination. We're not looking to get people to first timers understand the Yucatan. What we're doing is we're trying to convince people who are already in the market for a vacation home and no San Bruno, no Merida, that fractional ownership is a way better alternative. In most cases, our buyers can afford the whole ownership price, but they can't understand it. They can't rationalize it. It doesn't make sense for them. Why would I buy a vacation home when I'm only going to use it for 30 days out of the year? Why would I spend all this money, have all these headaches for something that's going to sit vacant 11 months out of the year? So craft your language around it. Describe those flexible ownership advantages. You can compare it to renting or buying the expensive vacation home. A lot of people, again, to get out of the discussion, we won't use it enough to justify owning it. Now, this is the reverse philosophy, right? Now you're all the way down to fractional ownership. This makes a whole bunch more sense, but I don't even know that I'm going to get to use it 4, 5, 6 weeks a year. Talk about what I mentioned earlier. Friends, family, charity, rental, exchange. You're still taking other vacations. Why not use a vacation home as an exchange to save $10,000 when you go on this other vacation? I'm afraid I won't get the dates that I want. Well, those fixed owners are buying it very specifically for July and August. I mean, but we only have 33 of those to sell. The other people talk about the usage plan. I know it's a stumbling block now, and you'll better understand it soon. And you can talk through how they can make those reservations. I can tell you from personal experience, everyone who says, oh, am I going to get Christmas? There are 2 owners who say, we would never travel for Christmas. Our tradition is to stay home for Christmas. So that's where our clubs really satisfy about 90% or more of those desired dates. And we have a ton of testimonials that we can share and you guys can use as part of your marketing and sales. There's that particular date that they wanted. We want to come for 2 to 3 weeks. We want to get out of the cold weather. Well, this can be accommodated through this model. We talked about they can book 2 planned vacations. They can be up to 14 days each. So they could stack them 14 and 14. That's 28 straight days. That's huge. Maybe they put 14 days here and 14 days here, and they put a space available in front. So now they've got 21 days straight, 3 weeks. So really, really flexible. I don't want to share my vacation home with other people. Well, most people stay in hotels and resorts, and they're not the first person to sleep in that bed. Once they understand how fractional ownership is taken care of, that it's a professional staff, there's maintenance, housekeeping, everything. Really, all they're going to have to do is pick up their key, enjoy their vacation, and leave the key. That's it. That's all they have to do. Everything else is taken care of. We talked the other day, if a plate breaks or a glass breaks, we'll replace it. If and when the couches and beds need to be replaced, we'll have money set aside to replace those. I like vacationing in a variety of places. Most people, again, don't want to feel like they've bought a very expensive anchor. So that's where the exchange program allows them to use their equity in their vacation home at other properties around the world. The annual fees seem high, so you're going to get this quite a bit. And the reason this is because it includes every single thing that a whole owner would have to write separate checks for every month. But it's also divided by 8. So when people think about homeowners associations, maybe some of you live in a community that has a homeowners association, it's usually we're going to cut the grass and take care of the flowers. We're going to do all those things, but we're also going to take care of everything on the inside. All of the staff, all of the things that are part of that comprehensive budget will be included, as well as that savings account. And that savings account is really important because people do not want to be surprised with special assessments. They don't want to be an owner for 5 or 10 years and then get hit with a $10,000 special assessment because we need to replace the tiles in the pool. We're going to put money aside for that, have money available, and if and when we need it, we'll be able to spend it. And the big thing is, this is much less than owning the whole vacation home. Has it been done before? We talked about that. We personally have done about 60 of these, but there's about 140 out there. very high satisfaction level. And again, I think one of the biggest things is that this ownership type matches and provides typical vacation home usage. Again, because most people use a vacation home 30 to 35 days out of the year.
Mhm.
Okay. And my last and final slide is, well, we can skip it, but that was a lot.
Yeah.
Now you guys will have some questions. Yes?
Hopefully.
Anybody? Oh boy. Oh boy.
Abdo, any
I do
questions?
have-
Yo
Yes,
tengo
I do
un-
have one, but you already said it, but can you repeat, please? If someone says, I don't want to go to the same place every year, but the option to go to the country, you said that they had to book it at their own country.
You broke up a little bit. I got you all the way up until the point where they want to take a vacation in another property. So they would book a reservation at SUNO. They would deposit that vacation in our exchange program, meaning they would take that 7-night vacation and give it to the exchange program. And then we would give them travel credits that are good for 2 years. So they don't have to take the vacation this year or next year. They could take it the following. So it's good for 2 more years. And then they would go inside the exchange program, find the vacation they wanted, and use those travel credits to be able to take the vacation.
Okay, I don't get that very well. Because they're paying, they need to pay again to take the vacations to another country.
Yeah, let me show you. Just bear with me for a second, okay?
Sure.
I think this will help. Okay. Okay, you guys can see my screen now, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me take you inside of a membership account. Okay, so you as a SUNO owner, you book a vacation at SUNO.
Mm-hmm.
And you've also paid your annual assessments each month or quarter or whenever they're collected. So you paid at SUNO. Now you have a vacation at SUNO. You would come into here. You would say, I'm going to make a deposit of my time. So by way of example, let me just show you. This is an owner. This is their property at Sandpoint, Idaho. And they're going to come in and say, the time that I have, now pretend this says SUNO. I have August 1st through the 8th. I have these 7 nights reserved. They're going to make that deposit. What that's going to do is it's going to say, I'm giving my time at SUNO to the exchange program. And then the exchange program is going to say, okay, you have 100, you have 50, you have 60, whatever the credit value is, you have that in your bank account now. Oops, sorry. You have that in your account. You have 100 credits in your account. That's great. You have those for 2 years. Then you would go in and say, okay, now I want to find a vacation that I want to take. And I know I'm going through this quick, but it's a pretty simple concept. So you want to go, I don't know, it doesn't matter, here to Bend, Oregon. That's your property you want to go to. And you can see here that the property is available, a 3-bedroom for 7 nights, and it's only going to cost you 30 credits.
Okay,
So
great.
you have 100 credits. So when you go in to reserve this, you're going to pay those 30 credits we just talked about, and you're going to pay an exchange fee of $695. That's it. That's all you'll pay for the entire vacation. When you check in, you'll pay some kind of a housekeeping fee, but you won't pay a nightly room rate. Make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Perfecto. Okay. Yeah, I think it would be good too, like as we get further into this process and you guys start to get questions from prospects on the exchange. We have people in our membership department who take those calls all the time, and we have people in our membership department that host webinars and have people ask posing questions, even if they're prospects. They haven't even purchased anywhere yet. So, and then you guys can attend those, and I think it would give you a little bit more context as to how the whole thing works. Be good. Abdu, I'm glad you're not sleeping. That's good.
No, no, no. ¿Cómo está mi inglés? ¿Me entienden? Por ejemplo, en el plan flexible, que son 28 días planificados, solo esos 28 días puedo usar para intercambio. O si más adelante agarro una semana extra, esas semanas extras también las puedo usar como intercambio. Y la
Yes.
fecha de inicio para que lo del plan flexible puedan escoger sus planificadas, ¿es en septiembre o es en junio?
Yes. That's one slide that I didn't spend too much time on. Let me just pull that up. Bear with me. Okay, it's just here. So what Abdu is asking, each year, the flexible owners will have to select their time. They have to tell us when they want a vacation. Remember, they can pick those, first planned vacation, second, the supplemental, all those different vacations. Fixed owners don't need to tell us because they own July and August. So what Abdu is asking here is, when do they do that? So in June 1st, we send out information to the homeowners. We give them 30 days to fill out the information, telling us when they want to vacation on those planned vacations. We give ourselves 15 days to confirm them, right? Because we have 200 and some odd owners who are all going to be submitting their vacations. So we give everybody a month to submit them, but then we give ourselves 15 days to sort through them and figure out exactly, put the whole calendar together. And then August 1st is when they can start to make their space available vacations, because we want to give everybody the opportunity to select those 28 planned vacation days if they want. I know I'm being redundant. Some will, some won't. Some owners will say, I'll get it later. Don't worry about it, which means you have a better chance of getting exactly the dates that you want. Some owners are only going to pick 7 nights for planned vacation, which means you'll have a better chance of getting those 28 room nights you want. So those are the dates, Abdu.
I have a quick question for you, Rob.
Yes, sir.
If a guest makes a 28-day planned vacation request, and those dates are not picked, does that guest have an opportunity to submit a second request for 28 consecutive days?
Yeah, so they're going to be able to make 2 planned vacations. Those planned vacations can be up to 14 days each. So
Right.
if they submit that, trying to follow your question, when they submit that, you're suggesting that they did get or they didn't get what they wanted.
Let's say, for example,
Mhm.
they want us to stay at SUNO for the month of March.
Yep.
Okay. So we
Yep.
put in a request for 2 planned vacations, one from March, one from 14, one from 15 to 20.
Got it.
If they do not get those 28 consecutive days, do they have an opportunity to pick another 28 consecutive days at a different time of the year?
Yeah, in fact, saying what the form looks like when they fill it out, it'll say just that. It'll say, give us your first and
Mm,
second planned vacation requests
perfect, perfect, perfect.
on the form. Then it
Okay.
says, now right below it, give us your first and second planned vacation alternative dates if your first and second selections are not available.
Okay. Good.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second question.
Sure. Yeah, please.
If we are able to secure 2 planned vacations of 28 days consecutively,
Yep.
and while we are there, we can request for supplemental or space available,
It would be space available, but yep.
7 weeks at a time.
7 days at a time.
So
Yep.
technically, if the space is available, there really is no limit. This is why the flexible owners have unlimited usage.
Yeah. And in fact, saying what we see a lot is people will book a residence on plan time.
Mhm.
And they'll call 30 days prior to. And they will ask, is there a second residence available for that period of time that I'm going to be there on my plan time? And if it's available, they'll bring another family.
Hmm.
Everybody's playing by the same rules. It just so happens that some people understand those rules a little better.
And there is no extra cost other than housekeeping.
That's correct. That's correct.
Excellent.
Now, the plan time would not be charged the housekeeping. The space available or short notice would be charged housekeeping. So, and even to that end, saying, let's say you have 7 days booked, you can call 30 days prior to and say, is the week before my vacation available? Yes, it is. Great. I'm going to book it on short notice. Then when you check in on that short notice, which is in front of your planned vacation, you can say, is the week after my planned vacation, is it available? Yes, it is. Great. I want to book that. Right? Because you've checked in on your short notice. That's 7 days. Then you've got your planned vacation, and now you've added one on the back end. So you're absolutely right. We see a lot of our members book one-way tickets, especially during slower periods, because they can stay as long as there's availability for it.
Mhm.
You know, that's where that, and I know I'm harping on this one fact, and if it's easier for you guys just to say you get 28 planned days, you know, plus you get what we always tout is use that country club analogy where, or similarity. Everybody's a member, the course is open, and we're not telling you how many tea times you can book. And it's the same here. You have unlimited flexible usage. So
I guess the key is really studying and understanding the booking system to best utilize what is available to you.
right.
Thank you.
You got it. Anybody else got any questions? I know this call went on a little longer maybe than you guys wanted it.
We may call for another meeting like this.
Yeah, no worries.
Any
All right.
questions? I know it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, go have a cocktail, everybody. Go have a
Una
beer.
pregunta. ¿Hay penalizaciones si alguien bloquea una semana por decir algo en diciembre siendo flexible y no se presenta?
Yes,
Su
I
quinta
like where you're
semana.
going. Yes. Yeah, if they don't show up on a vacation, there's some discipline that happens. They have to cancel a vacation within a certain period of time so they don't get penalized. All of these things are detailed in the owner information book.
Mhm.
And if you haven't read it, it's pretty short, and there's English and Spanish versions of the owner information book. So I would suggest going through it. It's just a 14-day cancellation. That's all. And the reason that's important is because if you're not going to go on your vacation, that time is made available for other owners to make space available and short notice vacations. So it's really just being courteous.
That's a good question.
Yes. All right. I am going to clean this up. I saw two little typos in there. And then Mercedes, I'll send it to you and you can branch it out to the team. It's going to be in English, but
I'll translate it. I'll use Claude or ChatGPT or something
okay. Okay.
to translate for us.
What? You're not going to do
Okay.
it yourself?
Oh,
I can. Oh yeah, Mercedes can do it. Yeah.
I'll be here for 28 planned vacations.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah, no, I think
Worry.
it's really helpful, especially if you can,
Supplemental and,
Yeah.
availability.
if you can chop it down even, and you can use it as if you do any Zoom calls with some prospects, it'll be easier for them to see it as well. Some examples and stuff. I've done that on a few calls, and it helps you kind of guide them in the right direction as well.
Yeah. That's right. All right. Good.
That
Well,
was a
thank you guys for this. I really appreciate your time. Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Ed. I'll talk to you
Thank
later.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
Hola,
Ah.
Mercedes.
Hola, Jess.
¿Nos
Okay.
podemos quedar un minuto?
Yeah,
Gracias.
for sure.
¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo les fue? Una